Hello and welcome to The Telescope. Every week we bring you a fresh insight from the biggest car market in the world. Today we're on a static preview of the Xiaomi YU7 or YU7 as it is in Chinese. This is the SUV version of the SU7 Saloon, as much as Xiaomi doesn't want me to say this, but it just is. And let's address the elephant in the room. Is this a Ferrari Purosangue copycat? It's definitely got clues. The overall stance, the unusually long, unnecessarily long L113s for an electric vehicle, these blacked out wheel arches. But I can definitely understand if you are one of those people who paid over €500,000 for a Ferrari Purosangue and this pull up alongside to you in a traffic light, depending on your tolerance level, you will go somewhere between, that's interesting, to what the hell is that? But I'll repeat what I said in the YU7 previews I've done previously, and this is a good looking car, regardless of the similarities it may or may not have with other models. And I will say this, McLaren is the only performance brand that has yet to release a performance SUV, right? I don't think, I'm not 100% sure McLaren's high performance SUV, if it does come out, could be as good looking as this one. Designers always want the biggest wheels, or to make the wheels as big as it could be. Xiaomi has played this trick probably to the maximum tolerance level. This is a very thick black wheel arch to further enlarge this wheel. But if you think this car's overall stance is still not quite as dramatic as the Ferrari Purosangue, it's because this car is on 21-inch wheels and the Ferrari Purosangue is 22-inch. Plus big black wheel arches on the Ferrari. So this is all the tricks Ferrari did, but the wheel is 1 inch smaller. So more or less, I think this is your only choice if you are looking for that Purosangue similar look, that this 21-inch wheel plus this 5-spoke design maximize the visual effect of this wheel. And if you choose one of those 20-inch wheels, they look quite a bit worse than this. The upper portion of this headlight is perforated. This is an air vent. Air comes in here through this tunnel and comes out here. Xiaomi says this reduces about 2 counts of drag. And all of the vents you see here on this car is real. This front extraction vent, this vent coming through in the wheel arches. There's 2 of them here on the rear wheel arches. Overall, you're looking at a drag coefficient of 0.245. which is relatively good for this big SUV. The biggest highlight of this car's interior is called the Xiaomi Hypervision. Doesn't make much sense, does it? It's in essence a full-width heads-up display on a blacked out background that is below your line of sight. Let's explain that point by point. First of all, it's full width, so it's much wider than your usual heads-up display. Usual heads-up display is just for the drivers. This now have 3 elements. The one directly in front of me is the traditional instrument display, and it displays your gear, your speed, and your range. The one in the middle could be your navigation. The one on the right is music. And all of these 3 elements is on a display on a black background, so it has much better contrast. It can resist to direct sunlight much better than a traditional heads-up display. The usual heads-up display struggles in snow, and if you're following a white car under direct sunlight, they cannot overpower the sun. But this, because this is on a blacked out background, has much better resistance to whatever lighting conditions you might have. Thirdly, this is below your line of sight. The usual heads-up display project information directly at your line of sight. Some people like the heads-up display precisely because of that, but I don't know, maybe it's just me. If I want to drive, let's say, enthusiastically, I usually turn the heads-up display off. This is below that. This heads-up display matches the upper part of the front bonnet. So this heads-up display doesn't eat into your front visibility at all. In essence, to create space for this full-width heads-up display, Xiaomi has effectively pushed the physical instrument panels in this car down to create this vertical space for this full-width display. It looks very futuristic, it looks next generation, and you have lots of flexibilities. You can put different units. The other big advantage of this is now the front passenger can see all these heads-up displays as well. The usual heads-up display is only available to the drivers, so this has much more interactive possibilities with the front cabin. This is also a very similar technology to the next generation BMW 3 Series, currently being called the newer class. Have a look at their concept videos and you will see they're very similar to this. And the kicker is this car will head into production and start delivery to customers this year, probably in another 2 or 3 months. So this is production ready, and the BMW newer class is still very much in a concept stage. The YU7 is a big car, but you can also see design has a higher priority than practicality on this car. So you just wonder, with that much L113 effectively wasted on the longitudinal space, you just wonder how much space this car could have in the rear cabin. Now, sitting in the rear cabin, I'm 5'11", and I will say Xiaomi has done, by Chinese market standards, the bare minimum. This car has 10 millimeters more knee room than the Tesla Model Y and the Porsche Cayenne. That's not actually very much space for a 5-meter long SUV. If you just want space, there are other cars that's 40 centimeters shorter than this and gives you much more space in the back. And kind of the similar story continues to the boot. With this very sloping roofline, you just wonder how much space is actually in there. The boot, again, I would describe as a bare minimum for a 5-meter long SUV. Xiaomi claims this car has a 670-litre boot, but that's including all of the underfloor storage. If we just look at the most standard space above this, below this line, I would call this roughly a 560 litres boot, which doesn't sound small, right? But when you factor in this car's huge physical size, I would say they've only just about did the bare minimum in terms of the traditional boot space. But this car has a very big frunk. There's a physical control here for the front powered, huge clamshell bonnet. It rises up and reveals this massive 140-litre frunk. This is a continental carry-on size suitcase. This is not international carry-on suitcase. If you travel a lot, you know the difference. This is a tiny bit bigger than your usual carry-on suitcase, and it has no problem. Another detail is that this frunk is a huge one-piece clamshell bonnet, and the precision required to have this perfectly lined up with the front headlights either side from one piece of huge aluminium bonnet. The production precision required for this is quite unbelievable. If you are a production quality control engineer, leave your comments below whether you will do this or not, because this bonnet is part of the front headlight. If this doesn't match up with the front bumper, then this doesn't have a face anymore, this car. So yeah, can you believe this is Xiaomi's second ever car and they have the courage to pull tricks like this? This is an EV that's clearly not about maximizing space. Xiaomi has made this very courageous decision to give design this much flexibility and freedom to effectively waste space. In terms of, if you just look at the actual room inside, the practicality this car provides you compared to its outer dimensions, this is, I would say, a C+, or at most a B- for me. There are cars, let's say the Ion Y Plus, at 40 centimeters shorter, provides much more space than this. But when you factor in this very exciting design, then I will give this design and its overall balance with practicality an A. This is just a static review. From the information we can see here on this plaque, it says 508 kilowatts. So this is probably the dual motor. 508 kilowatts is 691 horsepower. And also in the infotainment, we can see this car can adjust ride height, so that it's obviously on air springs. The single motor and the coil spring version of this car, I can still see it slightly undercut the current Model Y's price in China. The Xiaomi SU7, Xiaomi's first ever car, has already consistently beaten the Model 3 to become the best-selling battery electric saloons here in China. Could this YU7 do the same to the Model Y? I'm very hopeful, but there's one factor preventing this car from hitting its ultimate potential, and that's production capacity, because currently Xiaomi has an 11-month waiting list on the SU7 production. So with this coming on board, I would just say good luck to the Xiaomi factory workers and also to the supply chain managers. You will be working overtime. That is all from the Telescope today. If you enjoyed this video, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.